In today's video, we're going to be doing a New Year's book tag. This is the year I'm gonna get to it. How many books do I want to read this year? Hey guys, it's Emma. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a New Year's book tag. As you can see, I have a little microphone. I got this for Christmas and I'm testing it out. This is like a test video. See if it works out, see if I like it. I am a very loud speaker. If you can tell in my past videos, I like yell for some reason. I don't know how to speak normally. So I think microphones will help me speak lower. And even now, I'm looking at the little things like going up when I talk. And I think it's still pretty loud. I don't know if I can adjust that somehow, but this is just a test video. But I'm really excited. I usually do end of year book tags, but I feel like that could have gotten repetitive because in all my Vlogmas videos and all the videos at the end of the year, I'm talking about the books that I read throughout the year. Doing a New Year's book tag and doing one at the beginning of the year is fun because you get to see what my year is going to look like book-wise. So I'm really excited. I have about like 18 questions that I'm going to answer. I didn't want a lot because then I don't want this video to go on for a long time, and I tend to talk for a long time too. So we have a few questions we're going to answer, and I'm really excited. So we're going to get right into it. If I'm looking this way, it's because I have the questions and my answers we're going to be talking about. First question is a genre that I want to read more of this year. So if you don't know, I am an avid romance reader. That is usually all I read. Last year, I kind of branched into a little bit more fantasy at the end of the year. So this year, I want to read a bunch of different genres. I have a lot on my TBR that I want to read. But I think the main one that I want to focus on is fiction because I have seen books that are mainly a fiction genre, but then they also have a romance subplot of it. And I've heard a lot of great books last year that had a romance in it, but were mainly fiction. And a lot of the people that I watch rated it like 5 stars, or a lot of books 5 stars. So that's something I want to focus on. And I think maybe I would enjoy it, but that's the point. I want to see what genres I enjoy. And there's a bunch of other genres that I want to get into this year, but the main one is fiction. And then obviously the next question is a genre you want to read less of or completely remove, but I don't want to completely remove this genre because I do still love it, but I do want to read less of romance. I have been realizing, especially last year in my wrap up, romance isn't hitting as hard for me anymore. I'm reading a lot books like the same rating. A lot of them are in the 3-star range, 3.5. I think it's kind of like draining me out a little bit, and I think I need to broaden my genres. And getting into fantasy throughout the end of the year last year was really good for me because I was actually enjoying it because there's still some romance in it, but the plot is obviously more exciting in those. So definitely read less of romance, but not remove it completely this year. Now we're getting into some book questions. So this one is a book that's been on my TBR for way too long. This one I have 2, and I do want to read these this year. That is my goal. First one is The Way I Used to Be. This one was on my December TBR, but there was so much going on with Vlogmas that I never got to it. But I think this would be a good book to read this year. Like the question said, it's been on my TBR for a very long time. When I got it, it was very popular. Yeah, it sounds like a deep emotional book, and I think this might be fiction. I don't know the genre of this book. Should we check it? Young adult fiction. Okay, so it's a fiction book. That's a good thing. And it's young adult, so this would probably be a good book to get into. And then another one is a very popular one, and that is Binding 13. This, I'm pretty sure, is classified as young adult, but I've heard some of the things that goes on in these books, and it doesn't sound like it should be young adult, but I've heard these books are also very deep, very emotional. My best friend, Marcella, loves this series, and my best friend, Julia, just read this one, and she's on the second book. She says she loves it, so yeah, I did tell myself last year that I wanted to start this series this year. I always feel left out when both of my best friends are reading books together because then I'm like, wait, let me get in on it. Let me get in on the fun. I don't know. I've heard this book isn't too fun. I've heard like the romance is nice, but there's also deeper story lines in the books. So, been on my TBR for a long time. I think this is the year I'm gonna get to it. So no promises though, but I really do want to get to it, I promise. Next, I don't have any of these books physically because you will see by the question, it is the new releases that I am most excited for this year. Obviously, a lot of these releases I don't have yet. In Her Own League, this is on my 2026 TBR, and it's written by Liz Tomford. It's kind of like a spin-off book on 2 characters that we saw in the Windy City series that everyone wanted a book on them, and we're getting one. And I love Liz Tomford's writing so much, so I'm really, really excited about this one. Then we have The Wild Card by Stephanie Archer. I love a good Stephanie Archer book. I'm pretty sure I've read every single one of her books. So this one is another one in the Vancouver Storm series. I thought the last one was the last one, but I guess not. So we're getting this one. This one, I read the description, but I can't remember what it's about. I remember being really excited for it though. So love a good Stephanie Archer, really excited for this one. And then the last one is Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune. Obviously, Carly Fortune's books are peak summertime books. I love reading her books in the summertime. I might be confusing books, but I think this is the one where she's going to a wedding and then her husband leaves her at the altar. And so then she goes on a honeymoon with her best friend, her guy best friend. And I think that's the romance. I'm not sure. I might be talking about a different book. Pretty sure that's what it's about. And if it's taking place in the summertime, I'm there. Next question is a sequel slash series that I plan to finish this year or continue. First one I have is the Powerless trilogy. I've been slowly getting my way through this. I read Powerless, one of my reading vlogs in Vlogmas, loved it. And then I read Powerful on my Kindle. It's like the novella book in between the next one. And then I read Reckless. This I read this year. I think it was like either the first or the second book I read this year. And I've heard a lot of people do not like this one because it's kind of like a filler book for the next one and kind of leading up to the next one, which I can see how it could have been dragged out a little bit. I honestly liked it. I still liked it. I think I still gave it like a 4-star, maybe 3.5. I still really liked it. And the end, I'm really excited for what the next book is going to be about. There's also 2 novella books coming out after the last one, I think, or there is one out already and then there's another one coming out, but I'm loving this trilogy so far. So I'm really excited to continue this and possibly finish it this year, honestly. And then another one is the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. Once Upon a Broken Heart, I read a while ago, but I'm actually re-listening to it on audiobook right now. So once I finish that, because I didn't remember anything that happened, I'm going to jump back in and get to the second book, which is The Ballad of Never After. And then the third book is A Curse for True Love. I've heard people love this series and they especially love this book, the second one. I'm excited to see if I like it. This world is very magical and law and the world is not hard to understand at all. It kind of reminds me of like Bridgerton a little bit, but it's magical. That's crazy. All of the books that I have right now are fantasy because the next one is the Akatar series. And this is the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury. I read the first one in a reading vlog at Vlogmas and I bought the second one after. I've heard this is everyone's favorite. I'm really interested. I will say the first one I didn't love and it didn't make me excited to continue the series, but I have heard that that happens to a lot of people and you just have to stick it through because in the first book, you're kind of just building it up, meeting all the characters, but the series apparently gets good. So I'm excited to continue this. And this is a thick book, so kind of scared. Next question is a book you want to reread. Now, I usually don't reread books every single year, but my boyfriend got me a gift for Christmas and it was the physical Windy City books. And I have my 3 favorites here. There is Mile High and Rewind It Back on my shelf, but if I were to reread one from the series, it would definitely be one of these. I love these so much. My favorite is probably Play Along, Then Right Move, Then Caught Up. I definitely want to reread these, obviously, because I read them on my Kindle and it's going to be so fun to reread them and to be able to annotate my physical books. So I really want to get to at least one, but if I get to the others, then I'll also be happy. Next question is a hyped book that I'm finally ready to try. And these, I will say, I'm reading them in a reading vlog and it's going to be coming out soon. But the first one is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This came out last year. Both of these came out last year, actually. But everyone loved this book. I don't think I've heard a bad rating for this book. I'm pretty sure this is like some sort of women's fiction. But yeah, I don't know much about it. I just know a woman that she wanted to go to space and she's loves science. She's a teacher and she gets the opportunity to go to space with all these other women. That's all I know about the story. But it's a very hyped book and I got it because I knew I wanted to branch out my genres and why not start with a book that was very popular for being well liked. This is one of them. And then the next one is Silver Elite. Now this one, I heard a lot of mixed reviews that I think it's supposed to be a dystopian fantasy book with some romance in it. But some people were like, it wasn't dystopian enough. It got compared to Divergent a lot, which I think is crazy because it's hard to compare like a new book to Divergent. Like Divergent is iconic. But yeah, that hooked me. I love the movies Divergent and I have also heard great things about this book. It was hyped when it came out. Yeah, I'm excited to read this one. So stay tuned so you guys can see me read both of these books. A book you want to read before watching the adaptation. So for some reason, there are so many adaptations coming out this year. There is People We Meet on Vacation, which I should have included that in what I want to reread because I want to reread that book before I watch the movie, which is already out, but I haven't seen anything on it. So I think I'll have time to reread the book and then watch the movie, which really excited about that one. It's not my favorite Emily Henry book, but I still love anything Emily Henry. Two books that I want to read for the first time before the movies come out is one, Project Hail Mary. This book blew up last year. I don't know if it's been out for a long time or it got popular because they said they were coming out with the movie, so then people wanted to read the book. But I heard people that don't even read sci-fi loved this book. But I've also heard people say, like, yeah, I don't love sci-fi and I thought I would like this because of the hype and I didn't love it, but I want to try it because I just think it'll be interesting. Also, like, branching out my genres. Like, what if I do enjoy it? I've also heard like it's not too sciencey. Obviously, it's science fiction. There's gonna be some sort of science in it. The characters are really fun to follow and it kind of distracts you away from all the science that's going on. So I'm interested and I definitely want to read this before the movie comes out. I'm pretty sure it comes out in March. So I think I could definitely do that. And then the next one is Love Hypothesis. This, I don't know when it comes out. Okay, it says in 2026. I don't think there's an exact date, but it says mid to late 2026. So it is coming out this year. I've never read an Ali Hazelwood book, and she's a very popular author. She's popular for her science-y romance books, but also for her like werewolf books. I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, but I tried to read Love Hypothesis a very, very long time ago, and for some reason, I was so focused on all the science stuff that was going on that I was like, this is too much science for me. I need to get out of this book. So I like soft DNF'd it. I was like, maybe I will get to it at another time. I think because the movie is coming out, I want to read the book before the movie comes out because I don't know, I think that's always interesting to read the book, see what the book's like, and see what they make the movie into. But I've heard that everyone that's read the book, they like the cast. So I'm excited. Also for Project Hail Mary, like Ryan Gosling as the male character, you know the character is going to be funny. Next question is a book by an author I've never read before. So this one was hard because a lot of the books on my TBR, I've never read any book from the author. Like the last two books that I just talked about, never read a book from that author. But obviously I want to pick different books and other books that are on my radar. So the first one is The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrand. She has so many books that I'm shocked I've never read one of her books, and she's so popular for her summertime books. But I decided this year, I just wanted to, like, my goal this year was to find better books. So I was like, I need to step into the popular authors and the popular books. So I knew I wanted to read an Ellen Hildebrand book, but I didn't know which one because there are so many and so many that people love. So I just decided to check Goodreads. What is the highest rated one? And it was The 5-Star Weekend. So I thought this would be a good one to start with. And then if I enjoy this one, I can go and read all her other books. And I think that's so exciting when you like read a new author and then you love the book and you want to read all her other books. That happened to me with Stephanie Archer. I love finding a new author and then going and reading all their other books. It's so much fun. But another one is The Bright Years. So this book, I'm pretty sure it was a debut novel, which is crazy because of all the hype that it got and all the love that it got. Everyone loved this book. I'm really interested in this story. It sounds like a family dynamic is going on, and I've heard the writing is really beautiful, and I'm a sucker for good writing. So I'm excited to read this book, and I'm pretty sure she has a new book coming out this year too. So then that's exciting too. If I like the book that came out last year, I'm pretty sure that everyone loved, then I can go and read her book that's coming out this year. So I'm just like so excited for all the reading I'm going to do this year, but especially finding new genres and new authors. Next question is a book I think will become a new favorite. So first one, ironically enough, is called The Favorites. This one became really popular at like the beginning of last year or maybe the year before because it was compared to like Magnolia Parks and BJ like relationship, but also the writing was compared to Daisy Jones and the Six, which I haven't read that book. I don't know why because that book is so popular. I also heard the TV show like series is really good. They compared it to those two amazing books and then also said that this book was amazing. So I want to read this book this year, and obviously I'm also a sucker for a like kind of toxic relationship and some drama going on, but they're just like meant to be. I'm excited to read this book. I'm also going to read this book very soon. Excited for this one. And then another one. This book has been popular for years, but I think it got popular recently because the first person I saw read it was Steph Borer, and she loved it. She said she like recommended it to all her friends, and she loves that book so much. I think it was like her favorite from 2025. It is Tuesdays with Morries, and it's a very short book. I'm pretty sure it's like a non-fiction, like it's a true story, a memoir of this guy that used to meet with his older professor who would just give him life lessons. And that's literally what it says in the front. It says an old man, a young man, and life's greatest lessons. And I've heard great things about this book. I think I'm gonna love it. Maybe. I have really high hopes for it, and I'm excited for it. It's also on my 2026 TBR, so I think I'm definitely gonna be reading this year. Okay, next question says a book that scares you, lengthwise, topic-wise, hype, etc., but you want to challenge yourself with. These two are on my 2026 TBR, and that is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, I believe. This is a science fiction book, and I think it's about like the multiverse. He gets put in these different universes, and he has to figure out how to get back to the one that he's actually in, which one is right for him, something like that. It doesn't sound too science fiction to me, but it sounds really interesting, and I'm pretty sure there's a movie on this one too, so that would be really cool to read the book and watch the movie. Obviously it's intimidating because it's a science fiction, and I've heard a lot about Blake Crouch too. He's come up with another like popular book. I don't know what it's called. It's a little intimidating. And then also we have My Friends by Frederick Bachman. This author I've also heard so much about, and all great things. This book came out last year. I've heard mostly about his Beartown series, but I think I want to start with his most recent book that he's come out with, which that is My Friends. And I'm pretty sure this is a fiction too. It's about friendship. It's intimidating because both of them are actually male authors, and I don't think I've read a book from a male author. I could be wrong, but I don't think I have. So it's a little intimidating, and then also the different genres intimidate me and the hype over them. So intimidating, but they're on my TBR, so they're higher on my radar than other books. Next question is a comfort book I will pick up if I get in a book slump. This one, I obviously put it hand to hand with a reread. So I could have said the Windy City series too, but I wanted to pick a different book, and that is Reckless by Elsie Silver. I loved this book so much. Theo Silva, when I read about him, I was like, I think he might be one of my favorite male main characters I've ever read about. He's just the most wholesome person ever, and the story is so deep in this book. I feel like this might be the deepest story throughout the whole series. Accidental pregnancy, and we've heard about Winter, the female main character, in all the other books, and how she's kind of closed off and her name matches her personality. We just saw so much more of her in this book, and seeing her open up to Theo and seeing Theo accept her for who she is, it was just beautiful, and I loved it so much. So this is definitely a book I want to reread at some point, but if I get into a book slump like how I did last year, I think this is the book that I'm going to run to. Next question is a reading habit you want to stop or start. And this one, I don't know if it's like a habit, but it's definitely a goal that I want to do. Basically what it is I don't want to force myself to read books for videos. I want to plan videos with the books I want to read. So what I mean by this is usually I'll think of a video idea and I'm like, okay, I want to read, let's say, only fantasy for a week. But then I'm like, I want to pick up another book, but I have to do it for this video. I don't know. I don't want to act like I don't have any say in the videos that I plan, because I do. So what I want to start doing is planning videos around the books that I want to read. So one of the next videos that I'm coming out with, I planned it around books that I want to read. So I planned it around like, okay, I want to get my physical TBR down, so I want to read only books from my physical TBR. What are the books from my physical TBR that I want to read the most right now and that I think I will enjoy? Because that's also one of my goals this year, is to read books that I think I will enjoy, and popular books, and don't just read books because I need to finish the series, or I don't know, some stuff like that. But basically want to start planning my videos based off my mood and what books I want to read. Like, I don't want to plan reading only romance for a week when I want to be reading my fantasy books. So that's one of my habits that I want to change. Next question is a book that I think make me cry in a good way. This one, I'm gonna say The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This book is on my TBR as well, and all I've heard about this book is that it's emotional, and that's about it. I've heard everyone cries at the end of this book. I don't necessarily know what it's about. I know it's a historical fiction. It's taking place in some war, and it has to do with sisters, and that's all I know, okay? It's a popular book. I've heard it's emotional, and I haven't cried for a book in such a long time. I don't know the last time I cried reading a book. Actually, it was probably the Addicted series. That was probably it. Before that, I don't know what book I cried to. I want to read books that make me feel that way again. Bring out an emotion out of me that is crazy from reading words on paper. I think that book will do it. I've heard everyone cries reading that book, and they're also coming out with a movie. That would be really exciting to read and then watch. I don't think it's coming out this year. I think they haven't even started filming it, if I'm not mistaken, but that's a book that I think will definitely shed a tear from my eye. So I think this is the first one that we have a repeating book, but this question is a book that was recommended to me that I think I'm finally going to read, and that is Binding 13. It gets recommended to me everywhere. I see TikToks about it. I see how people don't really recommend it because it's so heavy, but they're like, it's a good, emotional, deep book that makes you feel things. My friend Marcella obviously loves this book, and she's been telling me to read it for the longest time, but I'm like, the length scares me. And then also Lizzie, which shout out Lizzie. I don't think I really talk about her, but she also loves reading books, and I'm pretty sure her favorite series is Binding 13. And every time I start a new series or read a new book, she's like, why haven't you started Binding 13 yet? Like, I'm waiting. So Lizzie, I think it's gonna be this year where I finally take your recommendation seriously and read it. I really truly think this is gonna be the year. Next question is a book that I want to unhaul if I don't read this year. That is Scythe and Sparrow. So I read the first two books in this trilogy. It's called the Ruinous Love Trilogy. The first two is Butcher and Blackbird and Leather and Lark. I just don't know if I'm a dark romance girly. I read those books, and the romance was like silly, also very dark. And the things that they were doing, I was like, whoa. I don't know if I enjoy this. Obviously, it's not normal, but to me, I'm like, this isn't normal. I don't know if I like reading about this. Only reason why I would read this book is to be done with the trilogy. It's only 3 books, and because it's on my physical TBR. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy it. It's probably going to be the same rating as the other ones, which is around like 3-ish stars. Yeah, if I don't read it, I probably will get rid of it. It is on my radar to read because it's the last book in the trilogy. So this one's a little interesting. This question says a book that feels like the season you're currently in. We are currently in the winter time, and this season I feel like is all about new beginnings. Obviously in December, you're kind of resetting for the new year, and then January, February, you are in the new year. So I feel like that's the message that I'm getting off. For the first one, we have another repetition, and I'm gonna say the favorites because one, they're figure skaters, so I thought ice kind of goes with the winter time, but also I think this goes to like past and present perspective, and you get to see how they started their friendship and then how they've evolved. So I think this will be interesting to read in the winter time. And then another one I don't have the physical copy of. It is on my TBR, From Lukov with Love. I think they're also figure skaters in this book. This book became really popular around like book talk era in 2020, and this author is very hyped as well. She's known for like her slow burn romances. I think this might be her most popular book, and I think it would be good to read in the wintertime. I love reading books in the season that they're taking place. I think it just enhances it all, because if I read Carly Fortune in the fall time, it just wouldn't hit as much compared to if I read it in the summertime. So I just like to do that with books. It enhances the experience. So those are 2 books that I want to read in the wintertime before February ends. And then the last question for this video is, how many books do I want to read this year? So this one, I'm honestly not taking it too seriously. I decided this year I don't want a book goal. I realized at the end of the year, I'm really scared, like, am I gonna hit my book goal? I need to hit my book goal. I'm not even worried about hitting a book goal, but I did have to put one on Goodreads and Fable, so I just put 40, which last year I did read 60 books. I think the year before that I read a little over 60. Like I said, this year I want quality over quantity. I want to read good books compared to just reading a bunch of books that are in the average kind of rating area. I just put 40 books. I think definitely I will meet it unless I hit a crazy book slump, then I don't know. I definitely want to focus on reading good quality books and not focusing on hitting a book goal every month or at the end of the year. If I do have to answer the question, it is 40 on my Goodreads and my Fable. Other than that, not too worried about the amount of books I read this year. Now that I mentioned Fable, I did create a Fable account. I decided I do like Goodreads, but I've seen how fun Fable looks. They had like a reading wrap, like kind of like a Spotify wrap, but it looked really fun. And also they let you do like half ratings on Fable. And I was like, I do that a lot. So I think I'm gonna need that. Yeah, my Fable is linked down below if you want to go follow me there and see the books that I'm currently reading. Those are all the books that are on my radar for this year. I hope you guys enjoyed all the questions. I think they were pretty unique. I think that's going to be the end of today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know if you're excited. If you do read, if you're excited for this reading year. I'm really excited because I think it's going to be a new fresh start for me. Let me know what books are on your radar. Comment them down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you know when I post my next video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!